Yo, this is Soulstice, Fat Beats Amsterdam, putting it down for Dub CNN. Check it. Soulstice out of Chicago, and I guess the message is, if you haven't heard of me yet, you'll hear me pretty soon. Well, it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's a question of the chicken and the egg. Basically, when I was a kid, I got into hip-hop. So the hip-hop was there before the education was, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a passion. Early 90s, when a lot of people got into hip-hop, that's when I got into it. And we just started, you know, first we were fans of it, then we started making it, and then it just got more and more serious, and I just carried it on through college. Of course, I still got the education so that I can, you know, pay the bills and stuff like that, but music is all the time getting more serious, so it's just a matter of time until, you know, I don't want to say one takes over the other, but, you know, if that has to happen, that has to happen. I like having both right now because it's a good diversity to the stuff that I do. It's really dynamic. It keeps me thinking. But, you know, I'm serious about the music, so, you know, when the time is right, I'll make that move. I'm looking at it as when the music catches up, you know what I'm saying? So that, you know, yeah, it's a passion thing, so I would do it for lower, but, you know, I'm shooting for the stars, so to speak, you know? Lyrically, it's about life, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't pose or posture a lot, you know what I mean? I just speak it as I see it, as I live it, as I see the people around me living it. And you know, lyrically, that's the heart of the lyrics right there, just personal experience and life in general. And then, you know, at the same time, I try to make it dope as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's just life, you know, poetically put, so to speak. The best time for me to write is when I get a really dope beat. You know what I'm saying? And it just, usually I write backwards from the beat. So, you know, I'll hit one of my producers and they'll give me a beat CD and I'll be in the car. It's always in the car, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And the beat will come on and it's like, yeah, then the song just basically writes itself right there. Okay. Another time I like to write is like right after I see a performance. Like I might go to a hip hop show and if somebody's really killing it, then it's like, oh damn, I gotta go back to the lab and write something myself, you know what I mean? So it's like, basically anytime I get inspired, man, and sometimes I'll just be doing something random, you know, just walking around and it'll be like, ah, yeah, you get a thought or a lyric pop in your head. So it's really like, it's happening in real time. As you live in it, you know, it's coming to you like that. So it's like, it's an all the time kind of thing, really. North by Northwest Solid Ground. I first put it out in 2003, and it was basically just kind of an out the trunk kind of thing. And really, I was amazed because when I put it out, the response was so big, in, you know, not just U.S. and Chicago, but around the world. And so some larger labels got interested in the release. One in the U.S. that had distribution through Sony, and another label in Japan that had distribution through Universal. And they were both asking me for copies of the album because they wanted to put it out, you know, on a more official basis with better distribution. And it just been a couple years since I put out the first one, so I revisited the work. I made some new tracks to get it fresh, put it back together, new artwork, remastered, and then put it back out. And it's, you know, it's done wonders since then. I mean, since then it's been in XXL magazine, you know, back on All Hip Hop, Elemental magazine, mycoke.com. It's been all over, so, you know, it's really been an experience so far. After the North by Northwest, my next project is Wade Waters. It's me and another artist out of DC named Haysoos. And we just put out a Return to the Kings, a mixtape called Return to the Kings this summer, featuring Cuban Link from Terror Squad on a joint Rock Solid. That was a big single for us. And then just a lot of our singles, like The Melody is on there, The Quickening, and Haysoos had a big single, Listen Up, Street Box. So it's basically introducing you to the group, and then we got another album coming out this fall. We just did a joint with AZ from Illmatic, and that single's coming out in September, and the album's coming out in October. Basically, Haysoos is a radio DJ for the University of Maryland, college radio, and he was interviewing Cuban Link over the phone, and basically they just started talking and really clicked, and so we hit up his manager and they were with it, so we did the joint. And Haysoos called me up, because I wasn't involved in it at first. Haysoos called me up like, yo, you know, we got Cuban, want to do a joint with you, and you know, we just kind of collaborated, put it together, and that's what kind of started the group Wade Waters, really, that one single. and then we just kind of moved forward from there. I hooked up with him a long time ago when I think both of us were a lot less well known. Back in, I think it was 2001, I was in DC for an internship for the job that I have now with the government. I was working there as an intern. I was there for the summer. And I didn't know anybody, I didn't know anything about the scene. I was just one dude. I went on the internet and looked up the local open mics and hip hop spots, and then I just started going. I started rocking all the local open mics. And Oddisee and Ken Starr happened to be at one. And they rocked, and I was like, yo, I don't know who made those beats, but I got to meet that dude. You know what I mean? So I just met him that way, and then we just started working together. So it's been a good collaborative effort. But actually, the John Legend story is kind of funny. I actually didn't know who John Legend was at the time. It was right before he got real popular, so I didn't even know who the dude was. I just kept seeing all the posters, you know, John Legend, John Legend. And so I opened up, and then he came on afterwards, and I was like, yeah, this is good. This dude's gonna go places. And then right after that, he took off. So, you know, maybe a track in the future. There's really been a movement out of Chicago for a long time. You know, a lot of talented cats are coming out of Chicago, and then, you know, some cats like Rhymefest, cats like Common, Twista, just been holding down the city for a number of years. So it's cool to see somebody like Kanye, you know, really get that commercial success, but come back to the scene and acknowledge the cats that have been there for a long time, like Twista and Common, you know, people like that. So it's, you know, Rhymefest. So it's dope to see that he kind of took the whole movement and kind of moved it forward with him. So, you know, I was always proud to rock Chicago, but now it's cool because, you know, you say Chicago and it means something to people in terms of a sound. You know, so they kind of know what to expect, which is cool. And like the media centers, New York, LA, and Atlanta, you know, does its thing too, but major media centers in the US and New York and LA. So it's just that the Chicago doesn't have the right business infrastructure yet to really support a big local music scene. It's not, you know, the connections aren't there. So it's really just business. It has nothing to do with talent or, you know, the scene or anything like that. It's really just a matter of the major labels not really being present there. I don't know. I mean, R. Kelly's been holding down the city. I mean, he doesn't, but if you notice, like, he's an R&B cat. R&B cats don't really shout, you know, city names on track. You don't hear, you know, Jagged Edge talk. I don't even know where Jagged Edge is from, Atlanta maybe, but, you know, singers don't really shout out to places like that. And really, it's just a matter of none of those cats were from Chicago. None of them cats probably ever been to Chicago, you know, as far as the rappers go. You know, but otherwise, you know, it's really coming up. But yeah, R. Kelly, you know, people in Chicago have been knowing who R. Kelly was, but it's just singers, I don't think, really rep the area as much as rappers do. Future Chicago. I mean, it's really in flux right now. It's looking good because, you know, you had Kanye coming out strong, and it's good to see that that's actually carrying forward. You know what I'm saying? Common came out, classic album. He's working on another album. John Legend's getting ready to come back out. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So it's, you know, it's cool, but it's uncertain. You know what I mean? Like, the music industry is very fickle. So I mean, it could flash real bright and then burn out really fast, or it can continue on. But the fact that, you know, a lot of talented artists are coming out of Chicago and the scene is so strong, I really think it's going to be around for a while. Now that people are really focusing on the music that's coming out of there, I really think it'll be around just because the talent's not going anywhere. Oh, the future of Chicago besides the music. I mean, you know, the future of urban America. You know what I mean? It's all tied in. It just depends on what these politicians decide to do with our tax money. And education, you know, that's what it all is where the tax dollars are going. So, you know, once the politicians get it right, that's really going to determine the future of the city. Now, that's one thing that doesn't have anything to do with hip-hop, unfortunately. It's a ghetto in every city. So, you know, as people start getting the education system right, I think that'll change.